you know, he's all about mindset. And we all know that, you know, we all know Isagenix products are neck level. We know the compensation plan is legit and you can earn money. Oh, there's Shaz. I just gave you a shout out, Shaz, but you missed it. But shout out now that you're on. Whoop, whoop. You're amazing. Ads on the manager pools, you boss. Yeah, so we all know that. So why doesn't everyone succeed? We all have the same products, the same comp plan. We have the same training, like everything. So why doesn't everyone have massive success? Mindset, right? And so I love that these guys have been to Tony Robbins. I've asked them to jump on and share what they learned, because that is what it's all about, right? Mindset. So before I ask them, and then we've got an amazing guest speaker, boss ass legend, who's going to come and share a platinum and Isagenix millionaire and platinum and all round legendary guy. Scott Wood is going to come and share some of his words of wisdom and hopefully kick us all in the hiney. That's what we need. Okay, so before I jump to those two, I just want to remind you guys of the upcoming events. So you guys would have seen that I have recently launched the Tour of Duty, which is basically me going psychotic, driving around New Zealand in a camper van, trying to haul randoms into my camper van. Nah, kind of, pretty much. That. Let's be honest, that's what it is. I'll be picking up hitchhikers and forcing e-shots down their throats. That'll be the Tour of Duty. But what I'm going to do is I'm starting with Northland, and I'm literally going all the way from Kerikeri. I've got events all over New Zealand, all the way down to Inverfreaking-Cargill. Now, we are yet to have a team member on Stewart Island, but once we do, I'm heading there, baby. So if you can enroll someone on Stewart Island, I'll be pumped. I've always wanted to go down there and swim with the great whites. But I just want to quickly run over where I'm going and the dates so you guys are aware. So it's actually starting on the 7th of October, which is like in 1 week in Whangarei. Then I'm going to Kerikeri and Dargaville. Then I'm going to Bali, just for fun, for a week. And then I'm going to Sydney Spring Festival, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about. Then when I come back, I'm flying into Queenstown, picking up the RV. By the way, if any of you guys want to jump in on this RV road trip, hells yeah, I would love you guys to. It sleeps 6 people, so that's at least 12 in my book. Okay, so I fly into Queenstown, and then I'm starting the events in Alexandra, Invercargill, Dunedin, Oamaru, Timaru, Fairlie, where Eve and Pete are, Ashburton, Christchurch, Kaikoura, Blenheim, Westport, Nelson, Motueka, and then ferry across to the North Island. Straight up to Palmy, Kirsty, I'm looking at you there. Yeah, Wanganui, then to Hawera, New Plymouth, Tane, that's you. Napier, Jack, that's you. Waipukurau, believe it or not, we have a pumping team in Waipukurau. I don't know where the heck that is, but I'm in there. Gisborne, Whakatane, Rotorua, Tauranga. Then I have 3 events in 1 day on the 10th. Matamata, Cambridge, and Morrinsville all in 1 day. Well, what's up? Because I was running out of dates, so I had to. Hamilton, Tairua, and the Coromandel. Then Orewa, Auckland, and then Epsom at my place. The Kick-Ass Mansion will be the last one. So the last event is on the 14th of November, and David Wood starts on the 15th. So every single night, every single day and night, I've got events all around New Zealand. So this is your chance to blow up your team, because no matter where someone lives in New Zealand, I'm coming to them. They can't escape. I'll drive around and kidnap them in the camper van. Yeah. So get invite, like I'll run up a template of how to invite for those events, but they are going to be awesome. And what's going to be, just so you guys are aware, the scope of those events is going to be similar to the Casting the Vision events. So it's not going to be like a presentation like, oh, here's the shakes, or, you know, here's the comp plan. It's going to be, you know, the executives in Team Kick-Ass sharing our like raw and real story. Sharing like what was life like before Isagenix? Why were we driven to this opportunity? What have we been able to create? What is our new realm of possibility because we said yes? What has this enabled us to do? What is our hope for the future? You know, it's really about stories rather than, you know, the facts. It's going to be us sharing our stories. Yes, our stories with the products, but really focusing on our stories with our mindset, with our financial, like this, you know, everything that this has given to us. So those events are going to be epic. And the whole aim of those events is going to be basically saying, guys, Your only limitation is your own mindset, right? And how you change that mindset is you come to this personal development event called David Wood. So the whole drive of all of those events all across New Zealand is to tell people, is to show people that, you know, there is this whole new realm of possibility, and that, you know, it's all about mindset. That's the shift that needs to happen. You know, the principles of Think and Grow Rich, right? It's true. And so the first step is to come to David Wood. So all of those events are going to be driving people all over New Zealand to come to David Wood. And of course, I'm offering them free accommodation at my place. Now that we have the Kick-Ass Mansion, we can have at least 60 to 80 people crashing there. We can put tents out the back. There's no limit, right? So everyone can get free accommodation. The event's actually in South Auckland in Manukau. So it's right by the airport. If people fly in, boom, they can just go straight there. So yeah, that's the whole aim of the Tour of Duty. And because I feel like, man, this has given me so much. But I feel there's all these people in small parts of New Zealand that don't even understand what's possible. They don't even know how they can create a freaking epic life and more choice and freedom from their own little small town through Isagenix. Like, it's so cool. And I feel this obligation to travel around and tell people what's possible. So that's Tour of Duty. It's going to be amazing. Of course, I'd love as many of you guys to jump in the van as possible and come jump in. It's like, it'll be like the hop on, hop off buses, you know, around the bus about. We just jump on and jump off wherever you want. So all my itineraries in Team Kick-Ass and the Leaders Go First chats. It's going to be cool. Other thing, quickly, Sydney Spring Festival. So that is happening on the 19th in Sydney. And so instead of IC Uni, which is like traditional old school network marketing, go sit at and watch a presentation, Isagenix are mixing it up. Like, Foxy is doing a boss ass job as the new general manager, and the festival is going to be about food trucks, live music, bone broth. Like, it's all like hippie, like, this is the new Isagenix, all about the environment, all about making a difference, all about contribution, all about it's just so, so cool. So you would have noticed some fresh looking, and, you know, the Isagenix Instagram, the packaging is all going to be redone to make it environmentally friendly and more, yeah, it's just so cool. So what Foxy is doing and bringing into Isagenix is amaze balls. And you guys know there's some epic new products in the pipeline as well that are all alongside that. And some of the products are going to be available at Spring Festival. Also, keep this on the D-Lo, Scott Wood, don't dob me in here. But there's going to be some seasonal products available only for people that go to Spring Festival. And some of them may be including a new dairy-free flavor, could be including a peanut butter thing, and could be including our favorite things like cookies and cream and mango and berries and cream. So yeah, if you're not going to Spring Festival, definitely go there. Like, trip to, who wouldn't want a weekend in Sydney anyway? And after the event, we're all going up. It's like a real social one. So it's like with the Isagenix are putting on champagne and bubbles and kombucha and everything after the event to just socialize and hang out with sweet babes. Like, seriously, if you guys want to come, let me know, because I'm speaking. Yeah, you get to hear from me again. But that means I get, obviously they put me up in a hotel and all that stuff, so I can cram you guys in my hotel room if you want to come. I've requested an ultra king bed, of course. You get at least 6 people in that bad boy. All right, so now I'm going to pass over to our 2 incredible legends of Team Kick-Ass who have recently been to Tony Robbins. And I've asked them to jump on and share a little bit about what they learned, because, you know, we all know, like I said, mindset is everything. And, you know, us that have been to David Wood and other personal development events know how powerful they are. And, you know, Tony Robbins is the man. I wish I'd like been more onto it and been at the event. But I just think, you know, these guys have invested in their personal growth and self-development, and if we can get any nuggets off them for free, that would be awesome. Because I know for some people these kind of events are financially out of reach, and so I've asked these 2 to jump on and share some of their takeaways. So yeah, I'd love to introduce Jack Barr and Tane Hekata, calling in from Auckland and I think Taranaki. So welcome, guys. I'm so glad that you jumped on. Just unmute your lines, and I'm gonna let you guys pretty much freeball. You've got about 8 to 10 minutes each, or whatever you want to take. But yeah, over to you. Who wants to go first?
Awesome. Thanks, Gabby. Hey, team. How are you?
Awesome.
So, Gabby asked me to jump on here after Unleash the Power. And it is safe to say some power has been unleashed. It was literally the most lit event I've ever been to in my life. And I know shit's going to happen after this, eh? It was amazing. So, number one takeaway I can give you is get yourself there next year. It is just the most incredible thing. 4 days of complete immersion into completely transforming how you think and operate in the world. So that's my biggest takeaway, but I'll get into what I actually got out of it. So you spend 50 hours over 4 days, basically just in a super high vibing state. If anyone can't hear me while I'm speaking, just let me know and I'll speak a bit slower and a bit more clear as well. Sweet. So you spend this whole time just in like super high vibing, jumping. You've probably seen it on YouTube or something. They are crazy events, and there is a method to the madness. So it's 50 hours long, and by the end of day 3 and day 4, you're feeling pretty tired. But every time someone gets up on stage, you're sort of just jumping and keep going. And this is really just training you to be able to really just embody the ability to turn on energy very, very quickly, like instantly. And because you're practicing it so much over the entire weekend, like we do with anything we train in, we can learn how to really do anything in life. And would you agree that if we can turn on energy instantly, we're going to get more shit done? So I'd like you to think about different emotions and how they affect you. And when we turn them on, what is the consequence of that? So if we're feeling sad, like the body sort of rolls down a bit, we talk a bit slower, the emotion's not there, we're not really high vibing. But compare that to being upright, speaking louder, projecting more. Does it seem like I'm going to be a guy that's going to get more done in this sort of state of mind? And it's all done through how we present our body language and what we're doing with our voice and face. If our neck's up, chest is up, we're going to be able to do so much more. And in this state, which we can train, we feel so much more certain to go forward and do more things. So that brings me to the next thing. So the next step is always the hardest. On the first night of the event, we all did what's called a firewalk, where we walked across 500 or 600 degree hot coals, something that before the event seemed impossible, even early in the day seemed impossible. But when everyone was lining up and just going nuts, it seemed like it's very real. Like we can do this. And everyone at the event went forward and just did it. But no one stopped after the first step, as you can imagine. That would be super painful. So the first step is the hardest. Oh, can I do this? Can I do this? You go, and then you just keep going, because if you stop, it becomes hard. And when we get adjusted to that new level of activity, it can become painful to stop. It's like if you're going 100 Ks an hour and then slowly hit some, speed works, going 30 Ks an hour, it seems real slow. So if we can just get ourselves in a state of absolute certainty by using our body language to get ourselves there, we can then sort of use the energy and propel forward. So that's one of the biggest learnings I got out of it. So the other second biggest thing was that everything is learnable. If you're keen to do something, there is at least one human being on the planet that's gone and done it before you. And we can learn from their 20 years, 30 years, or whatever of experience, and we can condense their learnings and pain down into very small amounts of time. We can take decades of experience and push this into weeks or days or months, so we don't have to go through the same learning ourselves if we're willing to go and seek out this information. So books, people spend 20 years writing books, putting their whole life's work into 200 or 300 pages. This is an amazing way to consume content. the same thing with finding a mentor who's gone and done what you want to do, who's 10 years ahead of where you want to be. Most people are really, really willing to help people that are willing to do the work. People love seeing people grow. So this is another amazing way. And another way on top of this is to find a coach, someone who's been there before you and is willing to give you their undivided attention to help you push through all these barriers that you don't think you can do by yourself. And they can see exactly what you need to do, where for you it might seem impossible, but for them, they can see that you only need to make the smallest tweak to get the biggest, most significant change out of what you're doing. It might just be the tiniest improvement on what you're saying to people, or your technique in the gym, or whatever it is. The experts know, they can see so clearly what you're doing wrong where you have no idea yourself because you've never been there yourself. So by diving into these educational resources, like people or books or videos, YouTube, everything's at our fingertips these days. There's no excuse for not knowing. So we can go and learn this stuff, and then we just need to be in that high vibing state where we're super energized, get pumped, learn how to stay energized by keep on doing it over and over again, and then we can take the next step. So one thing I really got out was never leave a day or a seminar or anything without knowing what the next step is, and then just go and do it by getting into this high vibing state. But there's one thing further that I want to sort of add to this is there's often internal conflicts that stop us from chasing our biggest dreams. Like everyone has these big dreams, and I know I'm guilty of this myself, have these huge dreams and set out to do them, and then something holds me back still. And there can be the pleasure that we're seeking, but then there's also pain we're trying to avoid at the same time. So often these two things can completely sort of conflict with each other. So if you say you want to go out there and build a massive isogenics business, but in the background, you're afraid of people judging you, do you think these two things might sort of work against each other? So you want one thing on one hand, but on the other hand, you're so afraid of achieving that result. So we went through a bit of a process to help rewire our thoughts to be able to get rid of that limiting belief or the fear that we're trying to avoid, so that we can release that, rewrite the story to empower us to be able to go after what we're trying to achieve as a compelling future, or something we really, really want to go after. And I think one of the biggest things there was really feeling both of these sensations. So it's all good to say, oh yeah, I want to be an isogenics millionaire or whatever, but if you don't know the solid reason as to why you want to get there, what that looks like in your life, and what it'll feel like when you get there, it's going to be really hard to get up in the morning and go for it. If there's nothing there being like, it's just like it's a goal that you wrote because it sounds good to tell friends and stuff. If it's like that, you're never going to work. You really have to be in that moment, what it feels like to be able to really embody that emotion. And when you bring the physiology to that, it sort of like it becomes part of you, and you can switch it on like that. You know why you want to go. But similarly for the pain avoidance, so an exercise they got us to do was to identify 3 limiting beliefs, and I'll walk you through two of mine very quickly. So one of them was that I'm shy, awkward, not good with people, and sometimes seen as very aggressive, which is not true, which is part of the process. And also that I'm always going to be an employee and I can't go into business on my own. If I do, I'm not going to make it because I've been conditioned by society to basically be a cog in the system. Like, it's not good for everyone to go out and chase their dreams, because then there's no worker bees to go and be the workers in the businesses and stuff. Society wouldn't really work if everyone's going for it. So it's been conditioned into us that this is a good thing. The school system is set up for us to behave in this way. So those were the two big things that are holding me back at the moment, or were holding me back before the event. So again, we really have to know what the pain of this is. And this was a super powerful exercise. So you have to really go to quite a dark place to understand what the long-term effect of this belief never being rewritten is. For me, not being able to go into entrepreneurship myself or not being able to chase my dreams. I want to move back to Napier next year with my wife and soon to be new child. And I know if I can't break the cycle of being an employee and not be able to go into business itself, I'm likely going to be traveling up to Auckland almost every week and having to spend time away from my newborn child. And I'm going to miss heaps of super significant events throughout their life that would just break me to not be there, having to not be there for parties or the first rugby games or whatever they are. But really, really diving into this and feeling it on like in your body can create such a pain. We spent about 20 minutes doing this there, but if you can like really dive in and feel it super strongly as to how much pain holding on to this belief is going to cause, not today, but 5 years time, 10 years time. And then you can bring it back to today and sort of consciously be like, okay, this belief is going to cause this amount of pain in the future. So Tony Robbins talked about how he was helping people with smoking. So he would get people to go and buy 20 packets of cigarettes and smoke them all in front of him. And by the end, he didn't even have to try and convince them to not smoke. And they could tell him straight to his face that they can't make me smoke. You cannot make me smoke, because they could internalize how much negative pain was going on because of it. So once you've achieved these two things, you've got the really powerful pull force or the pleasure that you're seeking, and then the pain of what your limiting beliefs are creating in your life. From there, you can seek out to, I don't want to believe this anymore, I can keep moving forward. Then you just have to rewrite the story. So for me, one of the stories was, I'm not good with people. And then you just literally have to flip the opposite of that. So I said like, oh, I'm awkward, whatever. And then I just said, oh no, that's fucking bullshit. And this is, again, something you have to hammer into yourself. Every time you see the thought pop up, you have to be like, no, that's wrong. That's not true. That's not true. And seek evidence that it isn't true. And then come up with an empowering belief to replace it. Because it's all good and well sort of getting rid of a belief, but if you're not putting something else in there to replace it with, it's going to stick around because you're not upgrading your story. So my new belief was that I'm fucking irresistible. As funny as that is to say out loud and super embarrassing on a level, but I'm kind of embodying it now, because now I'm just owning it. And like, you can tell that I'm not even like sort of phased out at all by believing that. So by putting that into practice, every time I sort of catch myself thinking I'm awkward, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Everyone loves me. And so that creates a whole different vibe, and your physiology, as I talked about at the start, is super different. So that's basically the three big takeaways that I got. And the more you can sort of build these new beliefs into incantations or affirmations. So every morning I write down and really feel out my new beliefs. And this is a process I go through regularly. When I spot something that's not helping me, I like, okay, what's the opposite of that? Flip it on its head. You can go through the pain and pleasure exercise to really help bring some meaning to it. But that is essentially what I got out of the 4 days in 10 minutes there. So I really hope you guys got something powerful out of that. And feel free to get in touch if you want to discuss anything else that I've mentioned, or ask me some questions about what I've gone through, if I've gone through it through too quickly. But yeah, as I mentioned at the start, get yourself there next year, because it is the most powerful thing I've ever done. But thanks so much, Gaby, for having me on here, and I'll hand it over to Tane.
Oh, thank you so much, Jack. That was incredible. And, you know, like, yes, I'm definitely going to be there next year, 100%. But in the meantime, I got to get to David Wood. But I love that, because it's funny, like, we all have our stories. Mine is, I'm unorganized, I'm yellow, I don't have a diary, my life's chaotic, it's just how I am. And that's the story I tell myself. But if I rewrite that, I'm like, I'm an organized freak. I'm an organized freak. Everything's so planned. I know exactly what I'm doing, exactly where my schedule's legit. So just like rewriting the opposite of that. Yeah, it's so funny. And I always tell myself, I'm busy, I don't have time. I'm rewriting that. I've got all the time in the world. You know, I love how good I am and how efficient I am using my time. I'm a boss. you know, just rewriting that. I love it. That's so incredible, Jack. Guys, I'd love to see your takeaways in the chat. And let's head over to Tane. Take it away, brother. Thank you so much for jumping on, both of you. This is amazing.
What is happening, everyone? Can you hear? Everyone can hear me? Sweet. Awesome takeaways there, Jack. 50 hours straight and you compressed it into 10 minutes, which is pretty hard. It was an intense 4 days and so much information, but somehow Tony makes you embody what he teaches you. So that's one good takeaway. And yeah, definitely, if you guys get a chance next year, get down to the event. It'll change your life. So because I was so amped at the event the last day, I was jumping around and dancing around. I left my whole 4 days worth of notes on the ground. So I pretty much vomited up all the notes onto a board. Here we go. Yeah. So one major thing I took away and something that we all want to take into life is certainty. And I'm sure a lot of us here know the formula to success is having certainty in what we do, how we express ourselves and whatnot. But how do we do that? How do we do that when we've just got into something like Isagenix? You know, we know nothing about network marketing or entrepreneurialism, or you know, how do we have the sort of energy Gabby does? You know, and this is something that he brings up during the whole week is state. So it's getting yourself into a state so you feel certain, even though you're not certain. So the triad of this being in a beautiful state consistently is language, focus, and physiology. So obviously there's a few quotes that I wrote down. Where focus goes, energy flows. So you know, if you focus on a specific task or your goal within Isagenix or within your body, you know, you become obsessed because all of your attention's there. If you're, you know, I'm sure if you've wanted to buy a car before and for some reason you're seeing it everywhere, yeah, it's sort of like that. So being able to focus on something and get obsessed with it. And the language is important as well because words create biochemistry. So when you say it, when you speak it out loud, when you say what you're going to achieve or something and you say it to your group or your peer group, it becomes a part of your physiology, which is the next one, physiology. And that is when you know, the bro talked about affirmations in the morning. I'm sure a lot of you do that as well, but you know, if you write it down or you say it. So if I was to say, I'm sitting here and it's like a dreary morning, it's raining, and I'm here to say, I said, I'm happy, I am happy, I am happy, and I still feel like shit, you know? It doesn't work, you know, just you're saying that you're happy doesn't work. Getting in your body and moving, similar to, I sort of, but when I explain it, I talk about the haka, you know, when the All Blacks do a haka, they're moving, they're slamming their chest. What they say is in their physiology, so they embody what they're saying. So the more you embody it, it sort of anchors a feeling within you. So when you say it, it means more to you. So yeah, and that's gonna condition you to be able to have more certainty. Right, let's have a look what we have here. Take massive imperfect action. So I'm the sort of person that if it's not perfect, I usually don't go all and do it. So one thing there, he didn't say imperfect, but I just added that in there because if action to me means like perfect action. So I put in imperfect action. When I got into Isagenix at the start, I done pretty well because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I don't really care. I just love the products. I love the lifestyle, and I just went all in. Don't even think about it. Whatever Gabby says, just do it. You know, I wish I kept doing it, but yeah, for sure. Another thing is proximity. So the reason why the most successful people in that room were the ones at the front of the room. Why? Because I got proximity to Tony. They're closer to Tony. They're closer to the people that are high achievers. So, you know, when you're rubbing shoulders with those sort of people, naturally you start becoming like them. You start taking on their traits and their values and habits. And that's one thing about the events. Like the bro said, to get to this event next year, get to the Isogenics events, because that's something that builds certainty for sure. Yeah, and rubbing shoulders with people like yourselves. Like, I've been out of the game in a while, but it's just so awesome to be around like-minded people that are just wanting to grow, because if you're not growing, you're dying. So yeah, got all these little quotes. So I hope I'm amplifying you guys with this. And another part of the imperfect action is complexity is the enemy of execution. So we've been giving these tools and stuff like that. So don't try to complicate things. They're all there. You know, Gabby's led the way. You know, you've got a wicked mentor coach there to allow you to pave the path to where you want to go. So yeah, don't make life complex. You know, it's simple. You know, focus on where you want to go, feel it, embody it, get into a beautiful state and stay in that beautiful state and go for it. Now, what else we got here? So another cool thing I took away from this is being able to leverage your pain and the pleasure. So there were two things that he talked about. You got values and you got beliefs. So there's two sorts of values. The first sort is values that you want to run towards. So things like, you know, you want success, or you want freedom, and the other values are values that you want to run away from. So that might be, you know, you need certainty, you need security. So you run away from anything that's sort of like the opposite of that. Or say your fear of failure. So you're running away from failure. But then if you've got two opposing value systems, where, say, for example, you want to be successful, but yet you fear failure, then the only way to be successful is to fail. So you've got to think about what values you're trying to run towards and what you're trying to run away from, and see if they're not giving you leverage to where you want to go. Also, the language that you have within yourself. So there's two sorts of beliefs that you have for yourself. So there's global beliefs and belief rules. So global beliefs are things like language like I am, you know, I am stupid, maybe, or life is hard. Well, you know, what sort of language how are we talking to ourselves? Or people are shitty, whatever. You know, change your language. And the other rules is, if I, then what? If I, you know, if I lose this weight, I can start building this business, for example, was probably a limiting belief. So yeah, just being able to sit back and see how you're talking to yourself as well. And then the last one is pyramid of mastery. So this aligns with Isogenics and sort of like put me into a different state. So the pyramid of mastery. So where you'd start first is your physical body. So with Isogenics, we're making our physical body a lot healthier, which you know, obviously massive benefits for us. But that's the first level. So the first level is what we want to get ourselves healthy, and from getting healthy, we become, you know, we have more meaning in our life. Our emotions start getting a bit more balanced because we're feeling better, and by putting more meaning in our life, our relationships become more meaningful. Within Isogenics, we start to hang around people. Our social environment is key to our success. So you start being around people. You know, when you're after an event like this, you walk away with massive energy, and for some reason, you start to magnify those sort of people towards you. You know, synchronicity starts to happen. So that's another one. And then through that, you get more time for yourself. Isogenics allows us to have more time. Then moves into your mission or work and career, which is a part of Isogenics as well. I'm dabbling on. I'll be finished soon, guys. Sorry. And then into your finances, and then finally contribution. You know, helping people get healthy and whatnot. And that's, to me, that embodies what Isogenics is. But I'm going to stop there because I'm going to keep rambling on. I hope you guys got some good takeaways from there. I could probably ramble on more, but you're probably not going to make much sense out of it. So yeah, Thanks for letting me
That
jump on,
was-
Gabby.
That was incredible, Tane. And I was like, keep rambling. Like, everyone in the chat is like, I need this recording. Like, everyone's loving it. Jack and Tane, thank you guys so much. You know, you guys obviously invested a lot of money and resources to get there and to learn this, and for you to bring that learning back. Like, we're so grateful. And literally just I can feel your guys' energy from here, like, fully. And you guys are both lit after this event. And I love what you shared. Like, energy, certainty is everything. Like, it's so good. And yeah, just I encourage, I mean, all of us, I definitely want to be there next year. But yeah, 100%. I'm going to be there. No, change my language. I'm there next year. I'll see you there. Whoever wants to be there with me, let's do it. We can get an Airbnb, get crunk together. Whoop, whoop. And yeah, I mean, motion breeds emotion. I love that. So before I go on and speak, or before I even do an in-home presentation, I'm like a freak, but you'll see me 10 push-ups, 10 star jumps, 2 e-shots. I'm in state. Or well, these days it's nitro. But yeah, it's so true. And even before this call, I had an e-shot because I want to be in state. I want to do my best work. Yes, it's 8 p.m., but on my day 2 of a double cleanse, so I got to hit it. But yeah, I loved everything that you shared. Was so amazing. I'm so grateful. And Tane, even though you lost your notes, you did an amazing job writing them up. So that's epic. And so good to see you guys just on here, just pumping and high vibing. Like, I'm just so grateful. If you're grateful, guys, for what they shared, make sure you chuck it in the chat. And now we're going to pass on to another boss-ass legendary guy. The guys are dominating tonight's call. I love it. And this is a guy who has been a massive inspiration to me over my Isagenix journey. And I love it how, I think it was Jack who mentioned, you know, getting a mentor. If any of you guys are looking for a successful, legendary family man to follow in terms of what he's done in Isagenix, I highly recommend this guy. He's just so authentic, so real, and I'm just so grateful that he agreed to jump on tonight's call because he's just a boss-ass legend. And what I love most about this guy is he actually loves to have a lot of fun. I'm not sure if he's a yellow. I think he might be yellow-red, but he's got a lot of yellow in him if he's not pure yellow. And I think that's why I've always just respected and admired him, because although he's so fun, he's so successful. And he has absolutely crushed this business. So introducing Mr. Scott Wood.
Gab, it's an amazing call, hey.
Oh, so good, eh? How did I get so many sweet babes in my team? It's so crazy.
Oh, you guys are rocking it. Hey, guys, that was awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That just brought me back so much. So I've done UPW 4 times, and I've crewed it once. And I went on to do Tony's Mastery University program as well. And then stepping up into that, did the Leadership Mastery program, and then did Business Mastery 2 times as well. So I've invested a lot of my time and resources into Tony's programs. And seriously, I would not have success in my life in terms of my health, my relationships, my business. Everything has been like, I give so much gratitude to Tony's teachings. And yeah, so I remember the last time I did UPW was 2014, and we had 79 team members there. Yeah, it was a cracking event, and it was like we just took over the place. Everyone wanted to know, and we were all wearing blue shirts, and everyone wanted to know, like, who are these people in the blue shirts? These guys are amazing, all Isagenix people, and everyone just came and hung around. So Gabs, next year.
All right, I'm doing exactly that, but we're all wearing bright fluoro V-strings. It's on.
Kick ass.
Yeah.
Can I just share like one of my biggest takeaways from my very first UPW?
Totally.
So the biggest thing, and it's something I've embodied my whole life since then. The one quote that really resonated with me was that life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And it's something that David Wood teaches us as well, which is so powerful. But from doing UPW, I learned about how everything that we want to create in life is outside that comfort zone. All the juice, all the healthy relationships, the healthy body, the healthy energy the successful business, it's all outside the comfort zone. So I just became obsessed with looking for things to do where I could like get out of my comfort zone. And then like finding CrossFit, and the biggest thing I love about CrossFit, I know you've been hitting a bit of CrossFit over in Bali, Gabs. It's good to see. But the thing that I love most about CrossFit and things like CrossFit, you've got F45 or any exercise where you can really push yourself to a level where push yourself to your limit and beyond. It's a great environment to really allow yourself to get out of your comfort zone more. And like he sets you up perfectly on the first night, making you do a fire walk. Like I seriously thought it was BS. I thought, he's not going to make us walk on fire. Like this is impossible. Like that first night when he G's you up, cool moss, getting ready for the fire walk. I was like, no, and I was blown away. And so, yeah, the quality of your life is a direct reflection of how much time you can spend outside your comfort zone. So that's so powerful. But David Wood teaches it so beautifully at University in Action, which I know is in Auckland in November. And he spends a lot of time on that. And guys, if I can pass on one message tonight is look for opportunities to get out of your comfort zone. If someone asks you to share on a team call or at a team event, instantly say yes. Just look for those opportunities to get yourself out of your comfort zone, because that's where the juice is. That's where the growth is. That's where you grow and develop. And the more as people, more as human beings, we grow and develop ourselves, the bigger our life expands, the bigger our relationships expand, the more love, the bigger our business expands.
Oh, I love that. That's so, so incredible. And, guys, while, like Scotty said, a lot of what David Wood teaches is getting out of the comfort zone. For you guys, coming to David Wood could be way out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like coming to my house, sleeping 3-4 in a bed, it's going to be uncomfortable. Absolutely. There's going to be elbows in your back, things like that when you jam pack that tight. But literally, I cannot, like Scott was saying, I cannot reiterate enough like that. Yeah, the quality of your life is a direct reflection of the amount of time you spend outside your comfort zone. I just freaking love that so much. And as David Wood says, that's where all the good stuff happens. He said that's where the amazing sex happens. So that's where we want to live, right? Let's be honest. Okay, I'm now going to pass over to an amazing, gorgeous girl named Crystal, who's going to interview you a little bit, Scotty. She's
cool.
A massive upcoming leader in the team.
Where is she?
She is incredible. She's based in Tauranga.
Oh, she is.
And I'm going to hand over to you. Take it away, Crystal.
Woohoo! Oh, thank you so much, Gaz. Also, thank you to Jack and Tane. That was just absolutely amazing. Honestly, yeah, so cool to hear. If any of you guys have any questions throughout or anything for Scott. Sorry, Scott.
You know what? My kids call me Squatticus because it's like Scott who squats all the time.
Oh, I like it. It's got a ring to it.
I can use that.
Yeah, nice. Just chuck them in the chat box. But just kind of wanted to kick it off first. For those of us who don't know you, just sharing a little bit about your story, like your how you got over the line when you first got started, and like your earnings to date and things like that.
Okay. So, but prior to Isogenics, I was already on that journey of growth and development. I did my first Tony Robbins event in 2005, and that was at a time when I was just starting my own financial planning business as well. I'd sort of, like Jack was talking about, I used to have this fear of opening my own business because I just felt, what if it failed? Like I've got family, and what happens if it goes wrong? I've got a mortgage. Like there's so much fear. So that journey of self-development helped me get into my own business. So prior to Isogenics, like I said, I had a 15-year career as a financial advisor, and I was in a vehicle that was allowing me to help people prepare for their future, prepare for their retirement, make extra money. And it was really fulfilling being able to help people in that sense. It was up and down though, like financial markets go down, they go up, they go down, they go up. We went through the global financial crisis, and I was managing the money for 300 people, and it was super stressful. Hey, like it came at such a cost to my health with stress. And I found myself like staying in the office till midnight most nights, just getting on top of everything, trying to manage everyone and keep them keep their emotions at bay when, you know, their investments are going down. They're looking at their reports weekly and everything's going down. The global financial crisis was a horrible time. And I realized that being in the vehicle that I was in was coming at a cost. But I was a very health conscious person. I was a competitive surfer when I was 19 and just loved competing and loved that healthy lifestyle. And I read like this book called Fit for Life when I was in my teens, which was actually written by Tony Robbins. And so, sort of being in that space, I had a really bad accident when I was 19 and I broke my neck and broke my back in a car accident. And that sort of put me on that path to self-development at a young age. And doctors said, you know, Scott, you'll probably never do anything physical again in your life and never do surfing or whatever. But I was just like, no way. I remember the doctor coming and telling me that, and I was swearing, and the nurses were like upset with me. And I was like, no way, man. Like, I'll be surfing still to get this brace off. But yeah, so since that time, I was very health conscious. So when John O'Patch, who was a school friend and actually a client of mine in my business, he reached out. He's like, Scotty, we've been doing this isogenics program. I've had amazing results. I've lost weight. I got my abs back, and I've been helping clients. I was like, mate, no, I don't do shakes. I'm not into this whole shake thing. You know, you should see my fridge, Jono. It's full of vegetables and full of all healthy food. And I had a bit of an ego, I suppose, around that. I'd sort of done a lot of work on having my diet right, and I was actually following all the Tony Robbins diet as well. His whole recommendation, which was a part of the 10-day challenge that you guys are now doing, or the 30-day challenge after UPW. I did that for years and years and years. So I thought I knew everything with health and nutrition. But after a couple of weeks of him following me up, and then he handed me over to Jen, his beautiful wife, who was also a friend and a client of mine. And she just like, Scotty, is what you're doing working for you? And I was like, well, no, it's not. I feel like shit. Like I'm so depleted. Like my energy is just the worst it's been. I feel like the unhealthiest I've been in my whole adult life. And so I decided to give the Isogenics program a go. That was back in 2012, just over 7 years ago, and had incredible results. And look, I'll give you a little clue too. The thing that got me over the line, and after her following me up multiple times, was getting on a 3-way call. So Jen got me on a 3-way call with our upline, who's Warren Lance from Canada. And he just really spoke my language and spoke into me and cast this amazing vision. And that was that 3-way call that got me over the line to say yes to doing Isogenics. But I had amazing results. Like within a few days, it was like someone reaching inside and flicking a switch just with my vitality and my energy coming back. And people started noticing after 30 days, doing my first 30-day program, like I looked so different and was such a different person energetically, and just everyone around wanted to know what I was up to. And so I started sharing, and then results kept coming, and like all the amazing transformation, and kept sharing. And then after the 3rd month, I went Crystal Executive, and I'd earned like a huge bonus with the Crystal Executive bonus and the 1-star bonus and a couple of consultant bonuses. And I'd earned nearly $6,000 US for the month in the 3rd month. And that's when I caught the vision around how powerful the business model is. Because I hadn't really put a lot of focus into it. I was talking to people in the cracks of the time that I had. I was running a really busy business, 16-hour days some days. So I had to like fit it into the cracks. And I was just blown away that I could earn that sort of money after a few months without having to invest $1 million, without having to risk that money as well, and without really being super focused on it. And so that's when I thought, this could be a really amazing vehicle for me to shift gears into and live my life without it coming at a cost to my health. So that's when I put the focus into really wanting to see what I could do with this, getting out of my comfort zone, making more calls, going to all the events that were happening around me, like doing as much as I could to educate myself on network marketing. But I was absolute freak. I was obsessed. And then I set a goal for the 12-month goal that I replaced the income from my financial planning business so I could do Isogenics full time. And it took 13 months, and I just walked away from that stressful business and went and picked my son up from school. It's the first time I'd done that, I think, ever on a Monday afternoon. So powerful. And now 6 years later, the earning figure, I'm now into the 5th million in terms, like from 4 to 5 million in US dollars. I'm pretty sure it's just ticked over. Yeah, 4 million. And my mates in my financial planning, my buddies used to say, you can't make any money out of shakes, mate. What are you doing this shake thing for us? It's not a shake thing. It's transforming people's lives. It's so powerful.
Awesome. That is absolutely so amazing.
Long answer.
No, it's so great, honestly, and it's real nice because you've actually crafted my next 2 questions perfectly. One that I've got, I'm assuming you do ISA full time.
Yes. Yeah.
So if people are wanting to run and they're wanting to gun it, they're wanting to go hard, what are good ways to structure their days, like income producing hours, non-income producing hours?
Hey.
That's oh my God. Mara's in the house. Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, and like how Gabby said, like she just popped in the chat box here. What did you do to get to executive so quickly? So like some good tasks for people to be doing and things like that.
So I'll try and keep this more succinct. So when I started out, I was working another business, so most of my time was there. So I had to plan my days and be very, very effective with my time, and I was taking advantage of net time. So you guys at UPW may have learned about that over the last weekend, but net time is no extra time. It's fitting tasks in to something that you're already doing. So traveling to work on the bus, I'll be making calls. So probably in the first year, Crystal, I was working about 15 hours, maybe to 20 hours a week on my Isogenics business, but doing things wherever I could, making the most of every single second. So I was, like I said, on the bus to work in the morning into the city, at the bus on the way home, in my lunch break, coming home after work, I'd be putting the hours in after work. There was no TV. There was absolutely no distractions at all. I was 100% focused and committed, making the most of every single second that I had available to me outside of my other business. And also still allowing time to spend with my son and family and that as well. And so how did I get to executive so fast? One thing that I was really fortunate to do was to go to ISA Uni on the day after I enrolled. There was one in Brisbane. There was 40 people there. Hey, 40 people. But I learned so much. But on day 28, I went to David Wood in Parramatta in Sydney. It was like the first David Wood. That was November 2012 or October 2012 in Parramatta. And there was about 65, 70 people there. But I walked into that event, and this is coming up, Auckland, November. I walked into David Wood. Seriously, I spent my last $528 that I had in my bank account because the global financial crisis nearly wiped me out financially with huge debt. I was building a house, my dream home, and the building company collapsed and I lost so much money. But I didn't have a lot of cash flow at that time because my business was struggling as well. And Jen said to me, Scotty, this could be the best investment that you ever make. So I spent my last $528 to get that plane ticket, and I shared a room and got to that event. So walking into David Wood, I'd enrolled 13 people, but I'd never created a consultant. 5 weeks after David Wood, I was executive because I learned how to share. I learned how to show people the money. I learned how to create consultants. I learned what to say and how to draw it out. And that was the skill that I learned early on. And also having the belief that I could do it, that helped me go executive soon after, within that 3-month period. It was all because of David Wood. And so going into David Wood, I was like this super fired up, in an amazing state all the time, like super fired up. I was like this new tradie that had this big tool belt on but had no tools. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really know what I was doing. going into David Wood, got those amazing tools, state-of-the-art, latest tools, so I could walk out with my tool belt stacked and just know what to do, what to say, how to do it, and started creating an amazing business. Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute himself. Started talking. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, awesome. So excited for David Wood. Just how you're saying you're a CrossFitter, and I noticed you say in the end of your story talking about you initially had that stereotype with it's just shakes, or I already eat healthy. And I feel like, or Ethan and I, when we're approaching people who are already in the health and fitness industry, for instance, like personal trainers, people who do CrossFit and things like that, would be such incredible business builders, such incredible people for Isogenics. But how do we, what are some tips for kind of getting past that stereotype and getting past that ego that they have? Like, obviously that's their own personal thing, but just being able to.
It's a really great question, Crystal. Look, it takes time. I enrolled a guy in February who I've been doing CrossFit with for 5 years, and he's just gone executive, but it took 4 years for him to say yes. There's another guy that I'm working with at the moment that I've been talking to about Isogenics for over 2 years, and I gave him, actually my wife gave him a sample of Isolene Pro. He just rings me out of the blue, but he's been watching me on Facebook and social media, knows that I'm still up to it. Sent me a message saying, Scotty, you're still doing Isogenics? I'm interested now. But I think the key thing is, Crystal, is to be an example. So be a product of the product. Show up. If you're training in the gym, show up.
Yep.
Be consistent, train hard, put in your best. Have your Isolene Pro, have your shaker bottle there, have your e-shots there beforehand, have your Amp Nitro, have your hydrate, have your recover, have it all with you, and just start pulling all this stuff out. And people are going to be watching you, and they'll come and ask you. They'll come and ask you, what's that stuff you got? What have you got there? So my strategy has always been to, I suppose, be a role model, be a product of the product, and just do the do, and people will come up to me and ask what I'm doing. But if I am approaching people, obviously I approach people, the most powerful way I've been able to talk to fitness people and PTs, health practitioners, is to leverage my capabilities, leverage my time, and invite them to events. So if there's a Wellness Wednesday on, and I know there's a good speaker on that may relate to a particular person's, I'll send them along to the event. So for example, I've got an event next week in Christchurch with Kelvin Weir. Him and I are teaming up. We've got a fitness event. You guys are all welcome to come along. It's been posted up in the NZ event. But events like this, where we've got a panel of athletes and a PT, where we're going to be doing a Q&A, great opportunity to send someone like a fitness professional or a PT to, where you're not the expert, but you send them to the event where they're going to see people that are really having amazing results, successful in the business, successful with their training and their fitness. And that could be the thing that inspires them. So, and I know those things aren't always available to you, but when they are, that's the opportunity to send those sort of people to an event. And it's also a bit easier as well to invite someone along to an event than to sort of hit them straight up for Isogenics. But if you have got people, I think another great tool to leverage your capabilities is to use three-way calls. So first have the conversation with them, just to say that perhaps you just share your experience with the system, with the products, how they've been helping you, how you feel that it could really benefit them. And you've got this person that you would love to connect them with that has been doing it for blah, blah, blah time, or expert, and invite them on a call to have a chat to that person. Yes. And make it someone. So start building a database of people that you can lean on where, hey, if you've got a CrossFitter come up, you know exactly who to call. If you've got someone that's into F45, you know exactly who to call. If you've got someone that likes triathlons, you know exactly who to call. If you've got someone who's just into bodybuilding or looking fit, you know exactly who to lean on. So, and yeah, if you start making those relationships with people that you do three-way calls with, and you know, you've got an amazing team here. There'll be someone on this call right now, or that's in the team that would be able to help you. And we're all one team, right? So I'm always around for three-way calls and doing stuff. So, but there's people all over ANZ that you can reach out to, and don't ever be afraid to reach out to people. Don't ever think that people are too busy or they might want to do it, because they'll say yes. That's a pro tip.
Well, now we've got a CrossFitter to go to as well.
I'm going to get inundated this week, aren't I?
Yeah, we're going to get so many messages. No, that's awesome. Thank you so much. That's something that we.
But I'll have to plug that event for you guys too.
Yeah, I think Gabby's actually just popped it in the chat box there, which is awesome. Thank you,
That's
Gabby.
next Thursday night at the Burnside West Christchurch University.
Cool. Awesome. And what? We'll check the thing. What time it is? Gabby's just asked on here as well. What exactly do you say to people when you're sharing the money and helping to get them to consultant? She's asking if you follow the UII template.
So I've got a few key things that I do. It's sort of a bit of a system, I suppose. So when I'm setting up a new person, I'll say, Crystal, I'm so pumped that you're doing this program. I'm so excited. You're going to have amazing results if you stick to it. Guaranteed. It's so much more fun, and generally people will have better results if they team up and do it with other people. So who do you want to do this with? Who do you want to do this with? That's a question I ask. Who do you want to do this with? And then I give the gym example. So you imagine, Crystal, if you were starting out at the gym, you start a brand new gym program, you're going at 5 a.m. in the morning and you're doing it by yourself, and that alarm goes off at 4:30 a.m. and it's like, beep, 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 snooze. Beep, beep, snooze. It's so easy just to cop out and not go, right? But if your mate's turning up at your doorstep in the car hooting the horn, you're getting up, you're going. And it's similar with this program, doing it with friends, doing it with other people. You keep each other accountable and have so much more fun. And generally people have better results. So who do you want to do this with? Great. And then people will always come up with a name, or sometimes they'll say, oh, look, I'll just do it on my own. But if they come up with a name, that's a segue going into you share, they share, repeat. And I always say, Crystal, imagine if you referred 2 people to Pack and Save and you got your products for free for the week. Like, how cool would that be? So it's similar with Isogenics. And then I go into the money. If I'm sitting with them, I'll draw it out. So I'll go right through. Okay, they enroll 1 on a premium pack. It's $100. They enroll 2. It's $200 each one. Double PIBs. The $50 consultant bonus. The $100 Crystal consultant bonus. Go through all that. Draw it out. If I'm on the phone, if I can, I'll get them to actually sit down and draw it out with me. I'll get them to walk through it with me, because people are visual learners. Most people learn visually. 60% of people actually learn by visual cues. So if you're not giving people a visual experience, you're probably not going to be reaching over 60% of the people that you're talking to. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I learned from Tony Robbins as well. And then draw it out. And then it's so powerful to be able to sit down and draw out the money. And that's what I was saying before that helped me to get to executive, was learning how to do that at David Wood. That was a real game changer for me, to be able to sit down with someone and draw out the money. So those 3 things, the program's so great to do on your own, but it's so much more fun and powerful doing it with others. Do the gym example. Who do you want to do this with? Imagine if you shared, referred 2 friends to Pack and Save, and you got your products for free for the week. How cool would that be? Well, it's similar with Isogenics. Let me show you how. Boom, start drawing out the money. That's how I do it.
Awesome. That is absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I've got my notes written down. And Gabs has just popped in the chat as well, a list of all these different people we can contact and everything like that. So that's really awesome. Yeah, I was just reaching out to anyone else if they've got any other questions or anything. The only one I've got left is how you continue your motivation, because obviously you've been doing it for so long. How do you keep that high energy that you were talking about? There you go.
So right in the middle there, that's the fam. That's the fam.
Mhm.
Right. That's my why.
Awesome.
And this is sitting on my desk here, by the way. If you have a look over here, hang on. So here is, let me see. So if I get up close there, you can see meet our newest millionaires. So this is all the team members here that for a while back would walk across the stage with the big checks. And I got them on my vision board, and already 2 of them have become millionaires, and there's a few more on the way, but I've got all of the key people that I'm working with there to help them become ISA millionaires. So that's a really big why as well. And then what else have I got on there? My health and fitness goals there as well. The physique that I love to have, that keeps me inspired as well. And then all the places over here that I want to travel and go to and visit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so I did this a couple of years ago, this vision board, and I keep adding pictures to it. But see this picture here, right? I found that picture and I thought it looked really amazing. This cool little hut on the beach there. And anyway, I found out that it was Castaway Island, and I've got a lot of team members that go to the Castaway Island. Anyway, I had got married 2 years ago and had my wedding dinner on that deck.
Oh wow!
That's the power of vision boards, hey.
That's awesome.
And I've got here. This is like the goal. This is the next goal as well. Where is it? Can you see the 10 star? That's what I'm working towards. So that's like, if ever I find myself times where I'm lacking motivation, it's probably because I've lost sight of why I'm doing this. And the reason why you're doing what you're doing in life changes every year. It evolves and things happen and you achieve things, and then you've sort of got to create yourself again. And so whenever I find myself going through that creative process where, okay, I've achieved some things, that why that was fueling me before isn't really fueling me anymore, that's the time to sit down and do a new vision board and write out your goals. And that keeps me, like, that board just is so much inspiration for me every day.
Awesome.
For me, that works for me personally.
Yeah, oh, definitely. We've got ours as well.
and then working with, like, if I ever find myself down on myself, or, you know, feeling a bit flat, or, you know, haven't had such a good week. And if for you guys as well, I'll ask you the question: if you've ever been down on yourself, you've had a bad week, maybe a person didn't enroll that you thought was going to enroll, or you might have missed the cutoff for a rank advancement, or you know, maybe you've been sick, maybe something's happened, or maybe, you know, kids have been annoying you, or your partner's have been annoying you, whatever it is. Have a think about who you're focusing on. Who are you focusing on in times like that? For me, I realize I'm focusing on myself. And if I just shift my focus, wherever focus goes, energy flows. If I shift my focus to, okay, who's 3 people that I can help right now? And I get into action, I'll write down those people and I'll go and make those calls or do whatever it is to help them in their business or whatever it is. And then when you're in that space of service, it's an instant change in state and you feel so much more fulfilled. And so that was a real key for me learning as well. Whenever I feel times where I'm flat, I'm focusing on myself. And that's where I realize that I need to focus on other people and helping other people. And that's where the juice is.
That is so beautiful. I honestly, yeah, wow, love that. That ties in really nicely. Gabs has just asked as well, what advice you have for dealing with negativity from people, like when you are getting in those kind of dull states, and if you're getting a lot of no's and stuff, so you're just focusing.
Yeah, I go through periods like that as well, patches like that as well, and I just have that belief that it'll turn around.
Awesome.
And it always does. It always does. Like I had a bit of a flat patch for enrollments like a few months back, and and that, you know, last month was good, and I'm sort of, so it's just like the business goes through swings and roundabouts, and the way to make sure that you're always moving is just to stay consistent, and to stay consistent on making sure you're continuing to have new conversations and talk to more people every day, every week about the Isagenix story. Share your story. And then when you've got those people that have started, you show them how to get paid. And then once you show them how to get paid, you take them to events. So they're the three things. You share Isagenix, you teach people how to share Isagenix, and then you take them along to events. That's been the system that I've used from day one. And that system is what helps you take product. So we've got around 80% product users in Isagenix, which are people that just use the products. It's incredible. Like Tony Robbins talks about how powerful the Isagenix business model is, because we've got such a high percentage of product users. He shared that on stage in Las Vegas a couple of years ago at Celebration, how it's such a credit to Isagenix to have such a high percentage of product users, because most network marketing companies, people have to go out and sell the business because the products aren't that exciting or non-transformational, but what we have is so powerful. So we've got 80% product users, then we've got 15% product sharers, and they're people that have shared with maybe one or two people. They might have gone consultant but haven't really moved further than that, product sharers. And then the 5% is the business builders. They're the ones that are actively out looking to enrolling, rank advancing, going to events. That's about 5%. So how do you move people through that system? So helping people have a great experience on the products, number one. So share your story, help them have a great experience. Teach them how to share, teach them how to get paid. So they move from a product user to a product sharer. And then once they're product sharers and they've earned that money, you share with them how they can earn more. You take them along to events, and that moves them from product sharer to business builder. So it's a simple system that I'll always use just to flow people through, being that from the 80% product user to the 15% product sharer, then onto the 5% business builder. So business builders are created. Leaders are born at events. We don't find business builders walking down the street or on Facebook. We actually share Isagenix with people and then help those people, help them become leaders by taking them through that process, taking them to events. Leaders are born at events.
Awesome. I'm so excited for all the events coming up. Thank you to Gabby.
Woohoo! Amazing. Thank you so much. Wow, what a freaking phenomenal call. I know it's gone longer than normal, but there were some neck level bombs dropped in there. And I've just got actually one quick question to end with. Scotty, sorry to keep you long.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's a lot of people on this call that are brand new, right?
Yep.
And about to encounter the journey of a network marketer, which involves copying a heap of negativity, especially at the start. And, you know, while we say stay consistent, they don't quite have the belief to even, you know, they go out, start sharing Isagenix, they get 5 people say no to them, and then they quit.
Yeah.
What advice do you have to those people? Why is this industry worth sticking it out?
It's all very well to say to people, oh, just don't buy into it. You know, hold that belief. If people knock you down, if people say no, just keep going. It's so easy to say that, and it's sort of so cliche, but it does hurt. Like it does hurt. And I think as leaders, if we can help set people up for success and help set the expectations about what is going to happen, that it's not all going to be rosy, that you are going to get people saying no, and they could be the people that you love and trust the most. But you've got to be prepared to cop the no's and to cop the crap from people who don't see what you see. You've got to be prepared for that. And it's really hard to know what to say to people. But, you know, I've had thousands of no's in my journey, like so many no's. But I've just had the unwavering belief that this system is for everyone. And so I take the no's as a not yet. And I continue to hold the space for people. Like the guy I told you about, the guy, it took 4 years to say yes. Like he gave me a hard time so many times about it, but now he's just gone executive after 4 years. But I held the space for him all that time. And you know, if people say no, just be okay with it. Just let them go on their merry way. but just hold the space, because maybe one day down the track, they might be ready. And so David Wood always talks about the right time, the right vehicle, and the right you. And it's like the triad, Jack and Tane. It's like a triad, okay, that you were speaking about before. The triangle where you've got, okay, people need to be the right time for them, needs to be the right vehicle, it needs to be the right them. Okay, so not everyone's it's not going to be the right time for everybody. They're not going to be in the right place either. But we know it's the right vehicle. Okay, so it's just a matter of holding the space for people and being patient and not giving up. So if someone says no, don't take that as a definite no. That's just not yet, and keep following up with them. Follow up every couple of weeks, or follow when there's a new product launched, or there's a 10% off discount, or there's the free membership offer. That's the opportunity to go back to them and ask them again. So I've got my list, my spreadsheet with all of the people that I'm currently working on. They've all said no, but I'm still working through that list, still following up all the time.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Scott. That was absolutely incredible. Everyone make some loving gestures with your hands towards Scott and Tane and Jack for all this amazingness. Woo, woo. How do we get priming? It's so good. It's so funny because before I jumped on this call tonight, I was actually starting to feel a bit emo. I don't know why. Day 2 of a double cleanse, sometimes get a bit emo.
Oh.
But now I feel freaking pumped. Okay, I have had a Scott. But I just love it. Like, you know, we all know that, you know, your thoughts determine your feeling, determine your action, determine your results. And what determines your thoughts? Your environment. So tapping into this environment of growth and positivity every single Monday night is so key, you guys. Don't ever miss these calls, and don't ever let the people that you've introduced miss these calls either, because they're so good. I feel freaking pumped right now. I'm jacked up. And also, don't let them miss David Wood and how you, at the moment, it might be a struggle to get people to David Wood. All you need to do is get them to my tour of duty, and I'm hitting the entire country. So literally, no matter where someone is in your network, get them to my tour of duty, and I can guarantee you, if they attend that event, they will come to David Wood, because it will be a no-brainer. Okay, so thank you so much again to Scott and Jack and Tane for sharing. I'm so grateful. And to Crystal for interviewing. You did such an amazing job. I'm so proud of you, Crystal. And guys, Tour of Duty, you've got all the events, you've got all the locations, you've got all the links. I don't actually have venues for any of them yet, except the one at my place and the one at my beach house. So if you live in those towns and we can have it at your place, please let me know. I would love that. Because I'm so organized, my schedule is legit. That's what I'm telling myself. So yes, thank you guys so much for an amazing call. You can get the recording, of course. Like usual, there's a task to get the recording that will probably involve some form of nudity. So don't miss this call so that you have to ask for the recording, because it does require you to get way in the unknown zone to get the recording. Awesome, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Scabs. You're amazing, mate.
I'm going to take a screenshot. So if you guys want to be in it, turn on your camera and smile. Okay, ready? Yeah. So many babes, not enough time. Awesome, guys. Have an amazing night. Let's pack out these events. Woo! What we focus on, we find. Whoop, whoop. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, legends.